Iran attacks two Iraqi bases housing U.S. forces in revenge for Soleimani's death. Iran launched more than a dozen missiles at two Iraqi bases that hold U.S. troops in what appears to be retaliation for the American airstrike that killed a top Iranian general last week, the Pentagon said Tuesday, confronting President Donald Trump with the biggest test of his presidency to date. One U.S. official told CNN that there were no initial reports of any U.S. casualties, but an assessment of the impact of the strikes is underway. A preliminary report from an Iraqi security source indicated there were Iraqi casualties, but Iraqi security officials later told CNN there were no casualties among Iraqi security forces. There are casualties among the Iraqis at Al-Asad Air Base following the attack, an Iraqi security source tells CNN. The number of casualties and whether the individuals were killed or wounded were not immediately clear. White House aides had initially made plans for a possible address to the nation by Trump, according to two officials, but a White House official said that Trump would not speak on Tuesday. The president later tweeted, "All is well." Missiles launched from Iran at two military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damage is taking place now. So far, so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world, by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning. The attack comes days after the U.S. killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in an airstrike in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. The administration has sought to cast that strike as an attempt to de-escalate tensions with Iran, but Tehran has vowed revenge for the killing, which it says was an act of war and state terrorism. In a statement, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, an elite wing of the Iranian military that is also known as the IRGC, said the attacks were hard revenge for the death of Soleimani. The IRGC said in the statement that any country housing U.S. troops could be subject to hostile and aggressive acts and called on American citizens to demand the government remove U.S. troops from the region. To the Great Satan, we warn that if you repeat your wickedness or take any additional movements or make additional aggression, we will respond with more painful and crushing responses, the statement to the U.S. read. Jonathan Hoffman, a Pentagon spokesperson, said Tuesday evening that Iran launched more than a dozen missiles at the Al-Asad Air Base, which houses U.S. troops, and American and coalition forces in the town of Erbil. Hoffman said the Pentagon is assessing the damage done by the attacks. In recent days and in response to Iranian threats and actions, the Department of Defense has taken all appropriate measures to safeguard our personnel and partners, Hoffman said in a statement. These bases have been on high alert due to indications that the Iranian regime plans to attack our forces and interests in the region. As we evaluate the situation and our response, we will take all necessary measures to protect and defend U.S. personnel, partners, and allies in the region. The initial assessment is that the Iranian missiles struck areas of the Al-Asad base not populated by Americans, according to a U.S. military official and a senior administration official. Officials have said the U.S. is awaiting daylight to get a full assessment of the results of the strike. Another U.S. military official told CNN the military had enough warning of the launches that they had time to sound alarms. People in harm's way were able to get to safety, according to the official. At least two ballistic missiles hit separate areas in Erbil, two Kurdish security officials tell CNN. One missile landed inside the perimeter of Erbil International Airport without exploding. The second missile hit an area roughly 20 miles west of Erbil without causing casualties. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Army General Mark Milley arrived at the White House following the attack and they left later Tuesday night. Qatri al-Obeidi, a commander in the nearby town of al-Baghdadi, said that the shelling has stopped for now. Trump visited the base in December 2018 to visit troops after Christmas. Vice President Mike Pence also visited the base in November 2019. The attack follows last week's deadly U.S. drone strike that Trump ordered to kill Soleimani.